I grew up in a non-practicing Jewish home. As I look back, my childhood was just filled with insecurity. At a young age, I began drinking alcohol, and that progressed into using hard drugs all through high school. One thing that I was good at was weightlifting, and I was very, very strong as a kid, but that was my whole self-esteem. And then from there, I found basically a secret pill, which was steroids. And that just made me incredibly strong, but spiritually, I was so weak and dead. And emotionally, I was just so weak. The steroid abuse led to more and more drugs. It was that was my life. That was my whole self-esteem, was how much I can bench press. And there were times where blood would be pouring out of my nose and my nose and my mouth, and I just couldn't stop. My New Year's resolution was to stop the drugs, but at that time I was on a cycle of steroids at the peak of it, along with many other different types of drugs. And I came off everything cold turkey, which was just the wrong thing to do. My body just went into complete shock at that time, and I had no idea what was happening. I was just broken physically and emotionally. I had to face myself for the first time, probably ever, and it was scary to deal with myself. So I went, I was hospitalized and then went through a severe depression where I could not move. I had no idea how to get out of that. I remember just crawling around the floor, just freezing and sweating. It was extremely rough. I never thought I would go through anything worse than that. I have 2 children. My youngest is just mature beyond his years. My older son has so much potential. He's such a smart kid and great athlete, good looking, but he's had that sense of insecurity since he's been a toddler. And he's unfortunately turned to drugs and alcohol, and he's just lost. Several years ago, I read The Purpose-Driven Life, and it had a huge influence on me. I learned that God is watching over me, and there is a purpose for my pain, and not to waste it. Because of that, I did grow a lot closer to God. I realized it was a God, and I was able to turn the toughest times of my life into my life's work. I did write a book about my experience, and now I work with people in recovery from drugs and alcohol and suffering from various emotional problems. I can appreciate even the bad times. Not that I want my son to suffer, but again, he brought me here and, brought me closer to God. I have to lean on God now. I can't do it myself.